Hi everybody, Barefoot Lass here, and I am very happy that you joined me today. Today we are going to talk tomato. It doesn't matter. We just have way too many of these buggers. And if you're anything like me, you're getting kind of sick of BLTs. Not that I don't like BLTs. I love my BLTs, but I'm kind of over them right now. So today we're going to make tomato pie. And if you've never had tomato pie before, you are going to love it. It is a treat for your taste buds. It's absolutely delish. And for this tomato pie, you just need maybe 2 extra large tomatoes or 1 tomato and 3 medium tomatoes. You don't need that many. So, oh, and please stay tuned for the bonus tip at the very end. Okay, let's go make some tomato pie. Here we go. Here's the ingredients for my homemade tomato pie. Number 1, I have my fresh tomatoes from my mini little garden. Next, one of the main ingredients is fresh basil. Next are fresh green onions. If you don't have green onions, you can use red onions, finely chopped. Next is a clove of garlic. 1 cup, I'm using 1 cup of mozzarella, and I'm using 1 cup of cheddar. Now, in the first time I made this, I just used all cheddar, which it was wonderful. But once in a while, I like to mix it up. And so you can use 1 of each or just use the cheddar. Real mayonnaise. And you have to make sure that it's real mayonnaise. Don't use Miracle Whip. Use real mayonnaise. Fresh pepper, some Italian seasoning, and good old plain salt. Now, I cheated. We are going to use the store-bought pie crust. Okay, the first thing we do is we take our homemade pie crust and poke holes in the bottom and then the sides, because we're going to pre-bake this. Because we just want to pre-bake it just for a couple minutes. I'm going to put the recipe in the description box for you guys. And right now we're going to make the topping. I'm going to put the 1 cup of grated cheddar and 1 cup of grated mozzarella. Then we put in 3/4 cup of real mayonnaise. Add fresh pepper. That should be enough. And all you do is mix it up. Just mix it all up and get everything incorporated. All of the cheese and the pepper. Okay, that's good. Okay, I already chopped up my basil. You use either 10 large basil leaves or you need about 1/4 cup. And I also chopped up my garlic clove very fine, and I added it in there. Okay, so you just chop your onions up, your green onions. You can use the white part, only make them real thin when you're chopping. And if you do the red onion instead, chop it up very fine. And you need 1/4 cup of the onion. Quarter cup of fresh basil, 1 garlic clove minced finely, and 1/4 cup of green onion sliced thin. And you just mix it up, distribute it well, and that step is done. Okay, the pie shell's out of the oven, and I put it aside to cool. Now, of this whole recipe, to me, this is the pain in the bum part. Take some paper towels, put them down, and put one of these racks down, all right? If you don't have a rack like this, use your colander. Put paper towels underneath. Then you take your tomato slices, put it down. Then I have little ones, because you know how homegrown tomatoes are. You have every different size. What we want to do is get all of the moisture out of the tomatoes. It's a very important part of the process. So you lay your tomatoes all out, or you layer them single file on your colander. So this is about the amount of tomatoes that you'll use. It's just this rack full, all right? So the next step is pretty simple. And you sprinkle some salt on. You don't want to use too much. Just sprinkle some salt on. And don't worry, the salt, it's not gonna be a salty dish, because we're gonna end up taking the salt and blotting it off. The reason we're doing this is to take the moisture out of the tomatoes so that your crust doesn't get soggy. So we're gonna leave these set, all right, for about 15 minutes. Here are your tomatoes. I took them off of the wire rack. And now what you do, I just took them and laid them on a couple of layers of paper towels. Now, I told you this is the pain in the butt part. You just take this and blot them. And you want to get out as much moisture as you can. And you do it a couple times. They don't look like those beautiful tomatoes anymore, do they? But that's okay. They're gonna taste, it's gonna be fabulous. The pie crust, I could have baked it maybe a couple minutes more, but it'll be just fine. Now I'm gonna do an optional thing here. You don't have to do it. It's not part of the recipe. Some people do it, some people don't. I'm gonna take a little bit of my freshly grated cheddar and I'm going to put some on the bottom. That way, it will keep the bottom from getting too moist from the tomatoes. You don't need that much. I'm going to put the tomatoes down. And they're all different sizes. It doesn't matter. I'm going to put one layer down. Just make sure it's all covered. So you have your first layer of tomatoes. Now you take your basil, garlic, and green onion mixture. And also the garlic's optional too. You don't have to use that. And you want to sprinkle it on. You just want to use half of it. This is like all fresh from the garden. And that's what makes it so delicious. Now, we're going to go very, very lightly with Italian seasoning. And I mean lightly. Just a hair. That's good enough. Okay, another layer of tomatoes. May as well fill everything in with all these little pieces. I don't like to waste. Waste not, want not. I always say. Use the rest of your fresh basil, green onions, and minced garlic. Okay, time for the topping. Put the topping on, kind of go like that. Kind of like just scrape it off. Now what I'm gonna do is get it on the edges. It's okay, my hands are clean. A lot of times you have to use your fingers for stuff when it comes to cooking. Kind of spread it over. Okay, that looks good to me. If you want to be a little bit fancy, let's put 2 little skinny tomatoes on top. Now into the oven it goes. Time to take it out. Oh, it looks good. Oh, it looks really good. I'm gonna put it on the rack to cool off. Looks darn good to me. Okay, I'm going to put a little embellishment on. Yeeks, yeeks. Tomato Pie by Barefoot Glass. Okay, let's cut it. I'm using this big Gigunda knife. Look, all the pretty stuff got destroyed. Okay, I'm gonna cut a piece for me. I just took a little piece and I'm gonna test it. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's like perfection. Okay, you guys have to try this for real. Honestly, like I said, it looks kind of goofy and you'd think, I wouldn't like that. But I'm really serious. It's like delectable. Okay, before the bonus tip, do me a big favor and hit that thumbs up button and ring that bell, because that way you'll be alerted for my next video. And please leave me a comment and let me know what you would like to see in a future episode, because that will really help me out. Okay, bonus tip. If you're like me, you really hate to dirty a cutting board when all you need is one slice of tomato or one slice of onion. Well, this is what I do. I get these really cheap paper plates, and you just slice your tomato or slice your onion, put it on your sandwich, and throw it away. But here's another tip. This is my favorite too. I take my grater and grate cheese on here, because you know how hard it is to scrub that cutting board when there's cheese on there. This is like so excellent. And then you have your grated cheese and you just fold it and dump it in whatever your recipe is, and then you throw it away. Okay, everybody, thanks so much for stopping in, and please come back soon. See ya!